I'm gonna talk about my shirt for a minute. Yeah, you can see this wolf, and then it's eating the moon, or just howling at the moon. But yeah, and then in the bottom part, it's just a moon in reverse, and then the back is this, except in reverse colors, I believe, or it's the same thing. But yeah, so that's it for my hoodie. Dang it. Sorry. But yeah. Sorry, I'm playing with my hands and things like that. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about, like, intro to BDSM. So, real basic. So, I talked about this a little bit before in 50 Shades of Grey video. But yeah. So, I guess what you really need to know, and what I really like about the BDSMtest.org, saying that correctly, I really like about that website is that after you take the test and everything, well, you can take the test first, but there are also other options, and probably in the top, and one of the top options, across the top, out of the test and everything like that. If you don't want to take the test, you can just look at, and they have it really, like, detailed and good explanations for all the different kinks that you may or may not be into. And vanilla is if you're not into anything. And a lot of people are vanilla. Yeah, but I don't even know what, like, all of them are called, and I usually only know because there are different words for what you're into and things like that. And I know a lot of the words for like the submissive, the bottom, whoever's not top, whoever's not in charge. I know a lot of those terms. I don't know how to say and know all the terms for the reavers, but they have all of those terms there. So I guess I gotta start with basics. Okay, so BDSM is just bondage, dominant, submissive, which is basically whoever's on top, whoever's in charge in the relationship, is the dominant, and then submissive is just whoever's the bottom, whoever takes more direction. Yeah. Whoever's the bottom is submissive in the relationship. And then also S can also stand for sadist, and M is usually referred to as, like, masochism. So sadists just like to give other people pain, and masochists like pain. They like receiving pain, and it gives them pleasure. For a sadist, they receive pleasure from giving other people pain and seeing other people in pain. So I'm a little bit of a sadist. And there's, like, oh, I forgot to mention, but that's just what those BDSM stands for. And then after that, you can also not be, like, strictly dominant or submissive or a top or a bottom. You can be switch, which means sometimes you're dominant, sometimes you're submissive, sometimes you like to be in charge, sometimes you don't like to be in charge. You like other people to do everything and take care of you. Yeah. And then there's a lot of different ones. So age play is when you want to act a lot younger than your age. You want to be treated like a child, a baby, toddler. Just, like, you get to forget about all of your adult responsibilities and all of that. And then caregiver is someone who takes care of you, who handles all the adult responsibilities, who makes sure that it's, like, a safe environment for you to go into your headspace, where you, like, disassociate from the world and everything and solely act and focus on your role and your kink. You're just fully immersed in a BDSM play and all of that. The caregiver and dominant has responsibilities. Always, you always got to make sure the submissive and everything is safe. They're taken care of. That it's a safe place. That they're obviously consenting to the whole thing. That they won't hurt themselves. That they won't hurt other people. That they're not in pain. That they're not hurt. and to make sure that they're like in the right headspace and everything like that. So you have a lot of jobs. I haven't had any experience, so I haven't had to deal with any responsibility. I've just taken a lot of kink tests to know what I'm into. So me personally, I'm a dominant, sadist, and a ringer. Yeah, so I'm really into bondage. I'm more into cuffs and everything. Rope play. I don't really know. I wouldn't know how to deal with the knots and everything. So I'd have a lot to learn. But yeah. And then there's rope bunny. I knew that straight away. Yeah. So they're the people who like to be tied up and everything. So they're opposite of ringer. It took me a while to learn the term ringer. Yeah. So they like to be tied up and everything. For rope bunnies. And there are brats. And then there's a brat tamer. So, like, it's a submissive who acts usually a lot younger and who's irresponsible and doesn't want to listen, but it's more like playful and it's not disrespectful. Yeah, it's more playful, like, I can get away with this, or like, I want to get punished a little bit, just like light punishment of just like spanking, lecture, or like a timeout, simple things like that. Yeah. Brat is more just like they're playful, disobedient, really. And so Brat Tamer is just a dominant who will let you mess around, but will actually like correct your behavior and be like, hey, you went too far, this is not okay. I'm gonna give you a punishment so you don't do this again. But like not a strict punishment, because just they want to mess around and be irresponsible and be a little bit disrespectful. Yeah. I don't really know because I don't have experience, but this is more my take on it and just what I've learned personally. But yeah, they should definitely be better description and yeah, just a lot more information on that website. But yeah, a daddy and mommy. So if you identify as female or male, and you deal with like someone who wants to act like more like a child or like a brat or something like that, or like an age play, you more just take care of them. You act more like the mother. You're like, hey, you need to clean up. So basically, when people would be like call you the mother of the group or like the father of the group, where you're more responsible and you make sure everybody's okay and everything like that, which allows other people to not have to deal with as many responsibilities and take care of things and just mess around more. So yeah. Yeah, I'm not really a daddy or anything like that. There's also, when you take the test, there's different like percentages. So, well, like for me, I'm like 100% dominant, and then so for other people, they might be like 50% like submissive or like masochist or something else, along with their higher numbers of like 80 and 90. And you can get multiple 100s and like 90s and things like that. It's just where you score on the test. You can take like the longer version or the shorter version. You can both. But yeah, just whatever you prefer. If you're like really into kink or if you're just finding out, yeah, if you're like really into it, you'd probably want to take the longer one. And then if you're just finding out about it and you don't really know anything, you probably want to take the shorter one and then just look at the definitions. And also when during the test, they'll give you a little bit of more of like a detailed explanation, sometimes throughout, and especially when on your results. After you get your results, you can click on the word, and underneath it'll pop up the description. So that's really helpful. But also, I want to mention the intro. Well, I was talking about before, a little bit before, just about sensory play. So yeah, they're in different plays. Different types of foreplay and yeah, different kinks and things like that. With sensory play, it just basically you can either have someone restrained or not have them restrained. But it's usually like blindfolded. Sometimes like also like noise canceling headphones or like music or something. So you block out two of the senses, so they have so you really focus and pay attention to how your body feels and like what's touching your body and things like that, since all your other senses are blocked for the most part. And then for that, you can just like different textures of like clothing and different items like feathers and things like that, just to like gently caress the skin, like with your hand or with that item. And you could either have like them guess what it is or just, well, I don't think guess what it is. I think that was wrong. But more just to really focus on that feeling and then to see what sensations they like more and just really like the more of the anticipation because they don't know what's going to touch their skin and like what they're going to feel. It's going to play. It's going to be like a little bit of pain, a little bit of pleasure. Is it going to be something soft, hard? Like, yeah. So it's more about and the anticipation and not having control of what's going on. That's really in the sensory play is what it's about. But yeah, dominant is just more a person who's in charge and they control everything, like the time, the place, and everything. But you also always want to have like a contract that was shown in like one of those in the Love and Leashes video, where it's just a written consent of like all the rules and everything, just being like, hey, are you, and also just learning about each other and being like, hey, like what kinks are you into? What are hard no's? So that it just means something you're not interested in that you wouldn't try and that wouldn't be okay. Yeah. So that's everything I'm going to talk about. Yeah, so the video should be, the website should be a lot more helpful than I am. But yeah, that's everything for Intro to BDSM.